Right. So you were saying that there was someone else there also?
Yeah. Shortly after we showed up, we had just treated a few minor injuries, and then I'd say like within like 20-30 minutes of us showing up to help with first aid, there were another couple people, and then another couple people, and by the end we actually had more than enough people because there weren't that many more minor injuries coming in, but there were a lot of people that were helping out. So it was just neat to see that there were that many people willing to come and help out and that were first aid trained.
And it's pretty amazing to see how Latimer set up so quickly. Like Latimer Square is automatically a triage area that I'm assuming they like designated that spot ahead of time. I'm not sure, but like within an hour and a half, I would say, they had a large tent filled up like with air, an inflatable tent, and that's where they were doing like major stuff, and that was where the major injuries went. Was this? At first it was the outside of like just kind of open area, and then they got this tent set up and first aid bins just coming in, like probably a couple hundred bins were already there, and just doing major stuff with doctors and paramedics and everything there.
Wow.
It was a hospital.
And there was an area that was blocked off for the helicopter to land as well.
Within 90 minutes.
Yeah, I would
say that.
An hour and a half to 2.
Yeah. It was amazing to see.
So someone got a tent from someplace and erected it.
It was a St. John's like inflatable tent that they used for, I'm assuming, emergencies like that, where like they had their bin and okay, we're going to this place and set it up and throw it up and stretchers go in, and that's where you do your stuff.
Wow.
So that's amazing. We were really close to the CTV building. So the USAR, the first 4 urban search and rescue people landed in Latimer Square and went there, and then like you see the big tow truck and big crane coming, like so like it was amazing to see how quick stuff got done.
Wow.
So,
where did the USAR people come from, do you know?
I'm not sure.
They were New Zealand urban search and rescue.
Yeah.
So whether
they were sort of the first on scene.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure.
I don't know where they came from, but they got helicoptered.
They just chopped it in, landed at Latimer Square, and headed over to CTV.
Yeah, and then the helicopter left, and just kept coming back and forth.
Bring more supplies and people and stuff.
Right.
Now, the three of us know exactly what happened at CTV, but for people who might be viewing this and might not have heard about CTV, can you tell them briefly what happened there?
CTV is the Canterbury Television building. It was a 6-story building, I believe.
Thereabouts.
And it completely got flattened, which was crazy because so many times we have walked by that building and biked by that building and could see it every day and whatever. And when the earthquake went off, like we thought, like that was a big one. There's going to be people injured or possibly dead from fallen debris. Never thought that there'd be collapsed buildings, like and flattened 6-story buildings. Like that hadn't even occurred to me when that went off, when the earthquake hit. So we were there, and we were so close to the CTV building that the paramedics were coming, and just like people after people were just rushing in with major injuries. So
while we were there too, there were several family members that were outside waiting because they had family members in the CTV building that were trapped, and they had no idea whether they were dead or alive, trapped, or what was going on, and so all they could do was sit and wait, and
that's where they sat. And
they had to wait for sometimes days, sometimes even longer. I mean, it just went on and on. So
they still haven't recovered all the bodies, I don't believe, from the CTV building. So.
Do you see any reunifications between family members and people rescued from the building?
No, not from that building.
No.
We saw like not people waiting for the CTV, like family members and friends, but also people. Latimer Square was also kind of a reuniting area where Red Cross was taking people's names, kind of figuring stuff out, and there was quite a few people meeting people there.
Pretty much anyone who was in the central city was directed to go to Latimer Square.
Because if people came and saying like, "Oh, my wife was in that building," they directed them to Latimer Square because that's where she would have been brought if she was there. Like,
right. So it sounds like it was all organized in advance. Like all the authorities knew to send everyone to Latimer Square.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that.
It must have been. So whether
even when
the September quake got them to be super organized or something, I don't know. But it really impressive.
Because even when we first, like after the earthquake, when we took our first aid kit to go downtown and see if they needed help, we just started heading towards downtown and then got stopped by like a barricade that a police officer. They hadn't had it barricaded yet, but there's a police officer telling people like don't go downtown. It's too dangerous. They're getting everyone out. And we said that we were there to help if they needed help, and they knew right away. Oh, go to Latimer Square. That's where. If you're needed, that's where it'll be.
Yeah.
So yeah, that clearly was something arranged ahead of time because the police officer that wasn't even close to Latimer Square knew where to direct us.
So where was it that the officer directed you from?
That would have been on Cashel Street, just heading straight towards downtown. So before we got to
Madras, Barbados.
I don't know the street names very well.
I'd say it'd probably be like a block in front of the CTV building.
So if you couldn't see Latimer Square from that street.
No, you couldn't. You just had to kind of know where you were going.
Yeah, Barbados
just follow
probably.
The crowd.
Yeah.
Because so many people were going to the Latimer Square because so many people were directed there.
It wasn't. I presume it wasn't Fitzgerald. The big. You know which one Fitzgerald is.
No, it wasn't Fitzgerald.
Yeah, that would be Barbados then.
Yeah, it was after that. Like we'd gotten a little closer than that.
Yeah.
So you're already blocking it. And what time would that have been? How long after the quake did you make it down there?
30 minutes maybe.
All right.
Not even. I would say.
Yeah.
It was quick.
We spent a bit of time making sure that all the people in the house, like trying to get a hold of everyone in our house and making sure everyone was okay, and then after that headed out. So it was probably about 30 minutes.